Today's video is going to be on tariffs and the impact on us as woodworkers. This is a bit of a vegetables video, but I think it's important to understand what could be going on here, as everything is subject to change, of course. Today it is the 5th of March, so we'll see what happens by the time this comes out. But I wanted to make sure to get this information out there, specifically towards summer projects, tool purchases coming up, things like that, and helping you make a decision as to whether you should buy now, whether you should change plans, anything like that. I'm going to cover the basics first and then walk through an example or two here and then talk about the impact. So the first is, what do we refer to as tariffs? Well, it's generally an import tariff, meaning that anyone who wants to bring something inside of the country, mainly large suppliers, has to pay a cost to bring it in here. If we have a 25% tariff, for example, that means if company A in America wants to bring in product made in China that they will sell in America, that costs them 25% extra, at which point they pay that to the Treasury of the United States to pay the tariff. So the actual money going to the United States is paid by the person or company in the US who is importing the product from abroad. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, mainly that raw materials, parts, finished products, everything is made either partly or some bit, for the most part, somewhere else in the world, whether it be Canada, Mexico, Indonesia, China, wherever. It's very hard to make a product entirely in the US out of raw materials entirely in the US with absolutely no help from anywhere else. So let's walk over a basic example now with some numbers here. Let's take DeWalt. Let's say DeWalt buys a drill from a manufacturer in China, and they pay that manufacturer $80 to bring it here to the US. DeWalt has possession of it at $80. Now they owe 25% of that cost to the Treasury of the United States to bring it in. $20. It's a nice simple number here. 1.25, 125% of the cost, 25% going to the Treasury. DeWalt has now paid $100 to get their hands on that drill from China, previously paying $80. China doesn't get an extra 20, that extra 20 goes to the Treasury here. Now let's say DeWalt originally sold that drill for $120. So they paid $80, they sold it to us at $120, they made $40. Suddenly now they're paying that extra 20 to the Treasury. They would only be making $100 on the actual final sale to us. So they're losing that $20 that's now gone to the Treasury. So instead of making a, $40 profit from 80 to 120, they're now going from 120 of what we buy to 100 of what they've paid. So they've lost $20 in profit right off the top, as that has now gone to the Treasury. So what is DeWalt likely to do here? Are they likely to take $20 less per unit? Maybe in the short term. Sometimes companies will eat that cost in order to keep customers, but they can only do it for so long, especially publicly traded companies or companies owned by a large amount of private shareholders who want some kind of return. You usually can't sell the idea that we're going to have to start losing a bunch of money long term. So the obvious way for DeWalt to get around that is to take that $20 they owe to the Treasury and say, you, the end buyer, now have to pay for that. That's going to be an extra $20 for you to buy the drill, going from $120 that we were buying it at to $140 to help DeWalt make up that margin. From a business standpoint, that makes sense. If you can maintain your customers at that and keep your profit margins, you will do that. So in the end here, we simply have paid $20. Us, the consumer, the person buying it, an extra $20. That is what has happened out of this entire thing if the company is to pass on that entire tariff to the consumer, because they don't want to lose any profit margins. They want to have exactly the same amount getting back from the product that they were originally pre-tariff. We now pay the difference. So what is the argument in favor of the tariff? Well, ideally the concept is that somehow these things will be made in the US. Jobs will be created, better jobs. We won't rely on foreign countries for labor, materials, something like that. That's the idea, right? In this vacuum, that's what would happen. It's now cheaper here, maybe, to do it here, so it'll all just be done here. Well, there's one big problem to that, and then a bunch of little problems. So the first is that, let's say we have a new producer, Milwaukee, and they just make all of their tools in the United States. They're doing great right now, right? DeWalt has suddenly had to raise their prices by $20. So let's say DeGuaki was originally $10 more. They were selling it at $130. DeWalt was selling it at $120. DeWalt now has to sell it at $140 to not lose any money. Well, what's DeGuaki going to do here? I should have chosen a better name. They're going to raise their price traditionally to $135, $138, something like that. They're going to come in under the $140 that DeWalt has to now charge, so they will be less, but they are going to make more than they previously were because they can still be cheaper and make more money. This is one of the fatal flaws of the tariff idea and helping domestic producers. The domestic producers will generally raise their prices to still be cheaper than the import, but above what they originally were, because you're a business. If you have an opportunity to make more money, most of the time people don't say no to that. Most of the time people say, we can make more revenue. Of course we're gonna make more revenue. Now it's not gonna happen in every case. I'm speaking a lot in generalizations here based on many, many years of examples throughout modern economic history that we have. So it's not going to happen in every case, but in most cases, in most industries, the domestic producer who is now, getting some benefit is going to also raise their prices. So what are some of the little things? Well, let's say we want to push DeWalt to just make their drills here. Okay, fine. DeWalt says we're going to bring that production here. We're going to do it. These tariffs suck. We're going to do it here. Well, it takes a long time to build an entire factory line to build a ton of tools. Maybe you make some of it here already, so you've got a bit of a head start, but you have to do everything that you had done in China now here. You've got to have buildings, you got to have all the raw materials for the buildings, which is also possibly being tariffed, so your building costs more to make, Canadian lumber perhaps. So everything takes time, even if you are planning to move it all here. You now have increased labor costs. As Americans, we have a higher standard of living. We're asking for, at minimum, our minimum wage, and ideally much more than that, though, that's not always the case. So immediately, you have this problem of waiting time and higher input costs. So again, the price is still going to have to be higher than it was because DeWalt has had to now spend more to make that tool, even though they're making it in America, which means they're going to be getting less profit margin than if they were still importing it. So again, another ending point with a higher price. We also just simply lack certain things like certain raw material quantities. We just don't have enough of it physically in the earth or somewhere on the land here to build everything out of. We still will have to, no matter what, especially raw materials that go into electronics, import those from somewhere. So no matter what, that is always going to be an increased cost if we have a tariff applied. So to finish out the vegetables part here, who wins out of this? Well, two people really. The domestic producer that already exists here that can now raise their price a little more, and the hypothetical person that may get the job in the future to build the product here. That person may or may not, we'll see, it could be years from now, but in theory, there could be a job created down the line for someone to produce something here. So they would be a winner potentially. So who loses? Well, everybody that buys stuff, really. But the biggest losers are people who aren't rich. They're just normal people. Tariffs are kind of what I would consider a consumption tax, meaning whether you're rich or you're poor, that amount of money increase in price is the same. If you don't make a lot of money, $20 extra is a lot to you compared to a rich person who makes a ton of money. They're okay paying $20 more for that drill. But if you don't make a lot of money, $20 more for the drill is a big impact to you. So it's a tax that everyone essentially pays. It just has way more impact on the lower earners, the middle class, anybody who's not in the upper middle class or just downright wealthy. The wealthy people will maybe not even notice it, right? But the rest of us will see this higher bill go up for things we otherwise would have bought for a cheaper amount. And we're gonna have to start picking and choosing what we buy and what we don't buy that we would have otherwise bought. So what is the impact in the immediate here that we need to think about? Well, we're going into kind of springish summer coming up here in a few months. A lot of projects, a lot of people doing outdoor projects, indoor renovation, anything like that. Maybe buying materials, buying tools, all of those kind of things, whatever you're gonna need for those projects. Now, we don't know if the tariffs will be gone tomorrow, be there tomorrow, go up. We don't know for sure what's going to happen, but generally markets also don't love uncertainty, and prices can rise on that alone, unexpected tariffs. So if you have a purchase that you are pretty dead set on, but you were planning to make it in, I don't know, let's say June, something like that, and you have the money, currently, it would not be a bad idea. It may not be a great idea because maybe the price is the same, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to purchase, let's say, those 2x4s now, put them in the garage if you can, and keep them till the summer. It's unlikely prices go down by then, basically. They may not go up if the tariffs just go away somehow magically, but they're unlikely to go down. In all likelihood, prices will go up by then. If you have the money now, buy the product now. If you can do it, don't spend money you don't have. Just do it if you can afford to do it now to avoid price increases. I'm personally looking at expanding into the DeWalt cordless line. I'd like to get a jigsaw, a circular saw, to replace my Ryobi stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do that now. I have the money and I thought I was going to buy it, but I don't need it. The other tools still work. So I'm a little torn. I may buy one thing. I may say I'm going to get the trim router now and hopefully avoid the prices, and maybe I don't buy those other things in the summer. I'm not entirely sure, but I know for sure that if I needed those and I had the money, I would buy them right now before they go up. Now, of course, there's going to be a bunch of variance across the market. It's much more complicated than just being able to write something on a whiteboard. There are different types of goods. There are elastic, inelastic goods. Elastic being things that can change in price and people will buy different amounts of them. Maybe you can substitute, maybe you can do without. And then there are inelastic goods, which price changes don't really change the amount purchased. People need those things. Think lumber, nails, anything made of steel for construction, things like that. Those goods are still going to be needed. Even if the price goes up, people can't just build with something else, right? There's no other fake tree to use to build our houses out of or build our projects out of. So if the prices go up on things like lumber, nails, any kind of inelastic goods, something we can't easily replace and that we probably still need to buy, it's also unlikely they don't come back all the way down, even if the tariffs were to end in, say, 5 months. It's likely that those prices still remain high. They may come down some. Let's say they go up 20%, maybe they come back down 10% from there. So still quite the increase, but they could come back down a little bit if demand eventually starts to flatten out or go down. But in general, once prices go up on things that we use, we're woodworkers. We use a lot of stuff that people are going to keep purchasing, whether it's extremely expensive or not, in terms of raw materials. Wood, just fact of the matter is, in the US, we build a ton of stuff out of wood. It's always in demand. So like I said, the prices are likely to go up on these things. They will go up even more if these tariffs remain around and they keep going up and people are fighting back and forth over the tariffs. If you can afford it, buy your supplies now, stick it away, use it in the summer. You were gonna buy it anyways. It's going to be cheaper now if these tariffs keep going and we get into a bit of a trade war. All right, that's gonna do it for me today. Hopefully that's helped. And like I said, I still gotta make up my mind on what I really need versus what I just want and what I can afford. Hopefully this has given you some idea to kind of look at your possible purchases now or in the summer in terms of pricing and what you wanna do and to just kind of better understand what's going on. All right, have a good one.